Peace to the gang, peace to the gang, and welcome to Quit the Cat Podcast. Peace to the gang, peace to the gang. Welcome back to Quit the Cat Podcast.
Yes,
it's
sir.
your boy BP, alongside the Bishop,
Yes,
coming to
sir.
you from Bang Bang Fitness Center here in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Yes.
And today's guest, ladies and gentlemen, is the founder and CEO of a nonprofit called P.U.S.H, aimed at stopping violence, transforming the community, and being a positive influence on today's youth. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have Mr. Tone Cook.
Yes. All right.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you
Yes, sir. What's going down? What's going down? But before we get started, we got to do a quick vibe check. Bishop, how you feeling today?
I am feeling. What am I looking for? How am I feeling today? I'm growing.
Growing.
I'm just going.
There we go. There we
I'm
go.
gonna be here.
There you go.
That's where I'm at. I'm growing.
Tone, how you feel today, man?
Oh man, I'm feeling very blessed.
There you go. There
to
you
be
go.
here.
That's it. Absolutely.
How you
That's love.
feeling, B?
I'm curious.
All right. I'm with that.
I'm with that, yeah.
I'm with that. So here
Let's
we
get
are.
into this.
Let's get into it. We have Mr. Tone Cook. So what we like to do is we like to ask our guests for those that don't know, I know there's some that do know, but for our listeners that don't know who you are, where you come from, how you got to this journey, but lead us to who you are. Tell us a little bit how you grown up and how we got
Yeah,
here.
no problem. I'm Tone Cook, man. As everybody, well, not everybody knows, but got an organization, Michael's Memory, Push, Harrisburg.
Okay.
How that came about was due to my brother losing his life
Yes.
back in 1997. Him and a friend of his.
Okay.
So it wasn't an act of violence.
Okay.
It was him and a friend of his playing, with a gun, which they shouldn't have been doing.
Right.
But, back in those times and the areas we come from,
Yeah.
that's just what it was. So not only that, but, I was one of the ones into the street, and you know me.
Yeah.
So I was one of the ones into the street doing a lot of the nonsense, a lot of the shooting, a lot of the robbing, a lot of the nose going on in Harrisburg.
Okay.
So with that, and my brother being, taken away from me, which was my best friend.
Yeah.
Like I knew my brother before I knew God, before I found
Right.
God. So that was my
Right.
friend. That's my
Right.
heart.
I got you.
So by him losing his life, it set me off. And it set me off first in a negative way,
Okay.
where I came back and I wanted to do even more harm to the streets because I didn't know and I was unable to communicate. So with that being said, it made me not only the negative grasp to that, it makes me grasp to the positive by showing the youth that they could be something different
Right.
than what we've been showing and what we went through. So I try to bring that to the forefront now
Okay.
and put the negativity behind and show the youth that it's something so much better out there than what they've been told or what they've been previously shown.
Okay.
So that's what it all came about.
Okay. So how long have you been home?
I've been home. I came home I did 13 years straight in the feds.
Okay.
But this was previous to before
Okay.
falling to the feds. But I decided I had in my mind to change certain things. But
Right.
see, I've been locked up so much off and on. It's
Right.
kind of hard to pinpoint the
Okay.
times that everything
So
started.
do you have more years inside than you have outside?
I have way more years inside than I have outside.
Really?
My first time being incarcerated was 13 years old.
Okay.
Came out, started selling drugs age of 11, 12 years old.
Right.
Picking up guns, 12, 13 years old. First charge, 13 years old, in and out of jail, institutions, juvenile facilities, which to mention is, like I said, I turned the negative to the positive.
Right.
Rather than just being a part of the problem, I'm a part of the solution now. So I also volunteer to go in the same areas where I was incarcerated to teach the youth that it's a different way.
So
Right.
let me ask you. Being in it so young, and what were some of the? So I like to say, because certain people will see things and they might not understand, but you coming from that era, starting that early. What are the characteristics that will make a child, because you're still a child, you're still learning,
Right.
what are some of the driving factors that drive you to that life at that age?
Oh, definitely the person that you look up to as a role model. The one that's the same person that's coming in and out of your homes.
Right,
The
right.
ones that's when you open up the door, they're standing on the corners. That's what makes, and honestly, that's what makes, it's the household, the home,
Okay.
and it's right outside of your household. That's what
Right.
makes you grasp.
So saying that, with that in mind, and
Mm-hmm.
you saying that, does that mean that there is no? Because that's the reality. Like
Right.
that's the reality in neighborhoods. That's the reality in a lot of these homes and situations. So, is that do you say that is prone to be the outcome for those that grow up on the south side of Hoff Manor?
Not everybody.
Not everybody.
Not everybody, because like I said, it goes back to the household.
Okay.
Because if the household is being, my household wasn't perfect.
Right.
So if the household is being, you got a father, you got a mother, because it happens, you got a father in Hall Manor, in Hoover.
Right,
Homes.
right.
Okay.
You got a father and you got a mother. If they're showing you love
Okay.
and what you're supposed to do
Okay.
inside of the home and outside of the home, you're going to watch
Right.
when you walk outside of the home what crowds that you adapt to
Okay.
and which way you go, because
Right.
you already got that insight from home and they schooling you on
Okay.
that. Of course, a kid sometimes roams
Yeah.
off, but for the most part, if a kid got that stability at home, it's going to
Okay.
change the direction of their life.
Okay, okay. So I do want to go back because that's where I know you from the streets, but
Mhm.
I always hold dear to people that find me in those places. I don't forget that, regardless to
Mhm.
anything that anybody says or anything that goes on. I remember the people that look out for me
Right.
in those moments. Because that was my first time ever going to the hoe, and I just knew, like, he was king of the hoe. He
Okay.
stayed, he lived in the hoe, he
Uh-huh.
stayed down there, he lived there.
Crazy.
So, when I had got down there, that was my first time doing that stretch, and he looked out. Books, chessboards, everything. Like, I had
Right.
everything. Like, it was not one moment, because I read a lot, so he just brought me books. Listen, I didn't spend no time down there physically, mentally,
Right.
because I'll never forget that.
Was that
This
you
was
just by yourself?
This was '98.
Okay.
Yep.
1998.
So this is the whole is just where you just
Oh,
go,
yeah,
you sit
yeah.
there, you in a room, just you.
There's two.
and
It
your
was two
thoughts.
of us. We
Okay.
was cellied up, but
Okay.
it wasn't what they made it out. Because when I got down, he had everything.
Okay.
He had everything, even
Right.
commissary that you wasn't supposed to have, and he had it. Like, and he willingly shared it. So I never will forget that. Like
Right.
that or them people in those moments. I have a couple people in those moments that met me at a spot of one of the lowest points in my life, and
Right,
they looked
right.
out for me in that moment. I'll never forget.
That's love.
And
Yeah.
it was describing because you were here and because it was like, okay, bruh's home, you'll hear the ruckus that he's going. It was like, okay, like it was that instant. So when you got down there, and I always was keen to when I met people and you get to see the real them. I
Right.
always got to see past the exterior. So I was like, oh. And then I found out he's my cousin. I was like, oh, it's cool. Like
Oh, dang,
all the
word.
things you hear,
Word.
you understand, and then you see somebody with a whole different persona. It was like, okay, you see the situation, you got to see,
The humanizing.
so I got to see that part in a lot of the people that had to wear exterior out here,
Right.
like, and when they knew, okay, the block is cool, the people's here, so I could take this exterior off, and,
Right.
and then I was appreciative for just the lookout and
That's what's up.
and just looking out, because we never really had run-ins on the street,
Right.
because bro be going by the time, so when he looked out, I was like, oh yeah, this is cool, like, what I mean, bro looked out, and I'll never forget that, so I was
Right.
definitely,
What was that exterior? As he talks about the exterior, you had to project out in the streets. What was that exterior opposed to who you really are? Who you
Yeah,
really be?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely wanted to speak on that too, because it's like a person. Like I can only be me,
Okay.
and on the streets, it wasn't like I was a bad dude, because I never was a bad dude. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
right.
I just did some bad things,
yeah.
but my heart is my heart. So being incarcerated, my heart was only exposed more because I
Right.
wasn't around person doing this or having to do this to a person. It was something different. It was, situations that
Right,
arise.
right.
I take care of it. We take care of it.
Right.
But for the most part, I'm a man and I'm a respect a man. So it's
Absolutely.
all about respect first.
Yeah,
You feel what I'm
absolutely.
saying? And if a person never crossed me, I have no reason to cross. It's just like, it's the human thing to do.
Right, right,
And
yeah.
and that's a part of what we're missing. A
Yeah.
lot of people don't do what we're supposed to
Yeah.
do. It's just like not even just a man, it's a human. Like
Yeah.
Right.
if you're in a bad situation and I have the ability to help you. Everything is not about a charge.
Right,
Okay.
right.
I just want you to be a little bit more comfortable because I know it's rough. I've been through it.
Right, right.
And that's the same exact thing I'm trying to do now
Right.
to the youth. If I know it's rough, I don't want you to go through it. So it just, being incarcerated just allows me anyway to be more of who I am because it's minus the guns, minus the drugs, for the most part.
Right,
So
right.
yeah.
I appreciate that. So I want to definitely get your take, because when we have a stance and you verbally, not I want to say in so much profess that stance, because your mantra, your thing that push is built on is systematic for all areas, and I'm saying, so when you put the P-Funk, Uptown, Southside, the Hill, and you bring them together, are you assuming the responsibility for the outcome
You gotta
of
break
the
that
streets? Or are you assuming, so like when you're serving Uptown, Southside, the Hill, the P-Funk, we're taking on, I want to say, leadership. So are you acknowledging full responsibility for those areas, so to say? That's my question.
That's a great question.
That's my question.
If that's what it takes, somebody to step out and have the lead by example, then I guess that's what it is.
Because see, I say that because I hear chatter, and I always like, people want, and I want to speak on this real quick. People always want somebody to have answers. And at the end of the day, us coming from, you don't got answers for all, and then here's the funny thing, the same people that want answers be some of the same people that can't raise a kid.
Right.
Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Because it is amazing that people will put pressure, and I get it. People will put pressure on someone that takes a stance, that you come out, you do things in the community. They're going to look, so to say, they're going to come with the pointing the finger. What are you doing? What are you not doing?
Right.
So, like, how do you respond if you even hear that when it comes to, because they always go, well, what's this organization doing? What's this person doing? Well, what are they doing over here? So what do you say? What's your response, or how do you feel? Or even if you don't have a response, I'm okay with that, because you don't have to respond to every little thing. But what is your stance on that responsibility?
What are you doing?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I always tell them.
Yeah.
Because I do hear, and that's a good question too, man. You got some great questions. That's a good thing, because I always hear it.
Okay.
But I always go and look on Matt Moyer's joint. I look on the local Channel 5. And every time it's a situation, it's a million people like, well, what Harrisburg needs to do this? What organizations is doing this? But rather than just chit-chatting, what are you doing?
Right.
Yeah.
And I got on there and responded to some guy that said he had businesses and all this other stuff, but he came on there and he voiced his opinion, but he did it in the wrong way about when Dutt's accident and he lost his life. So he automatically, before any information was out there, and this is why I say, like, I don't call myself the leader. A leader should never want to call himself and be the leader. You just have to step up and take
People
role.
make the leader.
Yeah. So when he got on there and made a comment like, the guy shouldn't have been speeding, doing this and that, and he wouldn't have been. So I jump on there politely. I say, sir, listen, no disrespect or anything like that, but who are you? Where are you from? Once he responded back, I'm from Harrisburg, and he responded, this is the way he responded. Tell me how you take it. Oh, I'm from Harrisburg. I just bought all these buildings and property and things like that. Yeah, I got a lot of businesses. So I hit him back. I said, well, you seem to be a smart, educated man. You have businesses and everything. So how didn't you take in consideration of you not knowing the whole full situation of what happened, and you're speaking on people that's loved ones? That's my family member. So people got a habit of pointing fingers and blaming, but what I tell them is, what are you doing?
Right.
Because it's a few people out here that's doing something, but it's a lot of people that's doing things just for show.
Right.
So my question, the best question is, well, what are you doing to help them?
There you go.
Absolutely.
There you go.
So I I want to go back to that. I still want to go back. I want to go back into. I need solutions, so to say. What first I need to. What do you feel is the problem with the youth? I would say, and this is, and when I say this, because I want this to be not territorial. This ain't just about Harrisburg. I need youth, period.
Right.
It's just not this neighborhood. It's everywhere. It's a condition.
Black
it's
and
a
brown
mind
children
condition.
in
So
America.
with us knowing, because some of the stuff doesn't be for the sake of survival. Because nowadays these kids are coming from privileged homes. They're not even selling drugs, but they're in Nike. They got the latest iPhone, and I like to call them entitled. These are the most entitled thugs I've ever seen. Like I see privilege. I smell it when I see it. You know what I mean? So a lot of it's just acting out and it's no longer on the means of feeding your family, and there's no food, and mom's getting high, and this is not the case now. So these are not, the majority are not crack babies. These are just misled and miseducated children. So, and not looked after. I think love is missing. But what do you feel is the problem? And even with the problem, what do you think can be a solution?
First, there's a couple answers to that. First, like I said, the home.
Okay.
The homes are the problem because children raising children.
Yeah.
Even if you're of age, you're still a child mentally. Raising a child.
Yeah.
And nowadays, like you said, these kids is coming out here, right? They're doing all this stuff, and they're privileged. They're very privileged. So it's like you're just wanting to, I don't know, what do you want to name? Or what? Because, and then 9 times out of 10, you know how back in the day, we used to always say, and it was a lie. I'm telling me to myself, it was a lie I told myself too. Because I didn't have to do what I had to do. Even though we was rough, I didn't have to do it. So when it comes to the reasons why I was doing some of the things, and my excuse was always, I got to provide for my family. I got to look out for my family. It was a lie. Because when you get behind them walls, you ain't worried about providing for your family because the streets is going to provide for them, or the next dude that you left out of the way. So a lot of these guys nowadays, they're still using an excuse. Like, I got to provide for my family. You don't even have to provide for yourself. So how do you have to provide for your family? That's another problem. So the household, the mentality of them, and no role models. It's a lack of role models. You feel what I'm saying? Like back in the days. Mr. Sherm. He was one of the few role models we had.
I remember
but
Sherm.
we had Mr. Sherm. And it's like, it's not too much of that going around. And it's not nobody really out here stepping in the area where they're at. And it looks like they're scared of them. You feel what I'm saying? They're showing too much fear. And if you show a person fear, they're going to make you show a little bit more fear. So it's like, whereas these kids, man, they don't have no real guidance. The ones in the streets, if you've been in the streets, if you've been through something similar to it, you should be standing out here. You should be getting out there doing anything in your power so that they don't have to go through what we went through. And it's a lack of guidance, man.
And I am big on, you don't have to wear a cape and come swinging through. I feel like you pulling up one every time you see him or you have the opportunity. Because opportunity is presented all the time. No knock. Here I go again. No knock. But I used to always, that was one of my things about the church. You reference, but you say you fear no evil and you believe a thing. But yet you'll lock your doors, or yet you'll keep the word of love and compassion because they don't look like what you want to talk to. So you ride right by. But yet where you can hold your guidance and hold your authority and pull them up and say, hey, you know what? On the other side, this is what lies for you. And it's this thing, man. I feel you 100%. I'm big on doing your part. You have to do your part, and making way to do your part, pulling up. It's just not, it's more than just an event. Giving away book bags, giving away footballs, and it's so much bigger. There has to be
conversation.
Yeah, it's conversation, and it has to be
conversation.
It has to be consistent.
It has to be.
It has to be consistent.
I mean, you know what? Not to cut you off, right?
Yeah, you good.
consistency,
Yes.
communication.
Yes.
Mhm.
Like you said, it don't have to be all the time.
Yeah.
And I was just talking about this not that long ago. If you see a child, even if they got a game,
Mhm.
this I'm gonna tell you what I do.
Okay.
If I see a child like out the South, they got games. I ride by, I jump out, root them on. I don't care if I know the kid or not. I'm like,
Right.
man, you missed it. You'll get the next one.
Right, right.
They're gonna remember.
Yeah.
They're gonna remember. So if you take one time, ever you see your next door neighbor, oh man, you all right? Come on, let me help you out.
Yeah.
They're gonna remember it.
Right.
So it only takes one thing at a time, but it seems like it's still missing.
Right.
Yeah.
It
Just
is.
missing.
So let me ask you. I wonder this because I know it changes everywhere. So is it? Because it's changed. The generation has changed drastically. So does it make it a little odd because they don't know who we are? They don't know who you are. So in the South Side, does that because we'll look from this lens. This lens. Oh, he's from there. Oh, he's from the phone.
Right.
Like, if you know these hard-headed, they don't give a damn
Where you from.
of who you are or where you
Nope.
from. So how is that when you look at the South Side and you look at the generation that's out there? Like, I need your real unadulterated opinion. When you look at like we know you loyal to
Yeah.
I rep my hood all the time. That's my spot. That's my hood. But I'll tell you that when it's going to shit, it's going to shit.
Right. Right.
I'ma
Right.
just
That's
be
what it
honest.
is. Right.
It is what it is. It's a little bit out of my scope to really try to come out here because they chopping out here. It ain't no little things. Those things is whopping like 40
Everybody
to
got
50
the
a piece. So
extendo on, yeah.
it ain't the 38 revolvers no
Yeah.
more. It ain't. It's totally different. So knowing the battleground has changed, what do you see when you look at the South and you look at the generation that's out there? What do you see? Do you really? I know we got hope. We're gonna push. We're gonna go for it. But like, what do you really, really see?
I still see hope.
You still see hope?
I don't like. This is like 100% on me, man. You know what I mean? Because look where I came from.
Okay.
How does it get worse than that?
Okay.
Right.
So do you do like I like to call it off script because everybody's posting when they got the event.
Right,
They're
right,
doing
right.
something then. So like what do you do in the gap? In the meantime, in between events, in there, like, are you out in the community? Are you pulling them up? Are you pulling up on them when it's the crowd? And this and like, how does that? How deep are you immersed in? I mean,
I'm gonna tell you this:
Okay.
every single day
Okay.
I'm out there.
Okay.
The days of events,
Okay.
I'm out there the night before.
Right.
Okay.
You
Right.
feel what I'm saying? Like it can be the day of an event. If something's going on, I'm gonna be late to that event because I want to make sure everybody all right.
Right.
So
right.
in between time, I'm making phone calls and getting 1,000 phone calls, squashing.
Okay.
People don't even know what's going on.
Okay.
So it's a lot going on that
Yeah.
only thing that I put out there to see
Yeah.
is what we can be and what we
Yeah.
can do.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
You know what I mean? So, but it's always, it's a constant job. It's 24/7. You don't sleep.
Because you have to give. I like to call it a respect. Everything don't need to be posted.
Right,
You know,
absolutely.
if I'm pulling up and
Yeah.
and I know
No.
I'll take this and whoever, but I'm not gonna. I have to
Yeah.
pull up. Such and such.
You lose trust.
You want to. There you go.
That's a fact.
Mhm.
There you go. So everything is not for.
And that's just the worst way to be. It's just like, yo, I'm out here. You see me doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
I
So,
just gave him some food.
yeah, like,
So-
that's the
You got me on
worst.
there. I ain't telling him I
Yeah.
needed food.
So what is a way that
Jeez,
you
yeah.
think we can? It's not. I don't want to say unite communities, but do you think that there has to be a you in every community? Like, not when I say a you, like someone that is advocating for that area, but as Harrisburg as a whole. Because I'll be getting confused. Like people will be either you helping children in school or you helping at risk.
Right,
You
right.
can't. You have to pick a lane and stay narrowly focused on that. And I think we start flip flopping and doing. Oh, we're doing this over here. We're doing this over here, and we're not staying steady to one thing and seeing it out to make it work. Because everybody wants the title. Everybody
Right.
wants to be. Oh, they look like they're winning over here doing this. So let me jump in there. And now we're doing
Right,
this.
right.
You know, and I think that
Mhm.
that part of trying to get the clout, so to say.
Mm.
We missed the whole mission.
Right,
So then that's
right.
why when the shit hits the fan and it's going and everybody's looking around and you see who fades and who's
Still around.
Yeah.
You know what you're saying, that right. I always sit back and you know it's always somebody else pops up. Boom, hey, I always sit back and I watch, and I'm a very, very good judge of character.
okay.
I watch, I'm still,
Yeah.
but I watch and I try to go off of your energy.
Right.
And when I listen to the words that you say, if you're saying, oh yeah, we got to get this, and then I always sit back and I tell myself, I'm saying, okay, let me go and do that. That ain't going to last. Let's see how consistency kicks in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I'm one of them people that, like, I touch everything, but I only go off of what I feel.
Right.
You feel what I'm
right.
saying? Like, if I feel as though, say, like, for instance, I go to schools. I do that because it's a part of bullying.
Okay.
And I'm against bullying. Mike was against bullying.
Right. Right.
So I go to schools, but it's not something that, like, I'm just trying to jump to this area.
Okay.
But a lot of people do that.
Okay.
But I go to schools, I attack the street violence going on, I attend funerals of
Okay.
families because it's everything that's I'm feeling. I'm
Right,
feeling.
right,
You feel what I'm
right.
saying? And people aren't going off of what they feel. They going off of what's like, that's the move. Let's
Right.
get there. It's a hot
They
topic.
trying to catch that
Like that.
viral
Hot
moment.
topics.
Like that.
Yeah.
You gotta go off what
They
you
ain't going
feel.
off what they feel. I think it's evident though. I see through
It's
that.
clear.
shit. I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very clear. Look around.
Yeah.
Look around. You got people like, and I'm not gonna toot my own horn, but I'm gonna be real.
Okay.
You got people out here, man, 24/7. I mean, like, I hear cries. I go to funerals. I just went to Leah's son's funeral. Rest in peace, Shani. I just went to his funeral. This is her second child she just lost.
Man.
So you don't see all these politicians and stuff like that. They don't really know the love that's real. They don't really know. When you hear them screams and them cries from them parents,
Yeah, absolutely.
like for me, it's another, like, I want to be there to support. I want to be there to support and let them know, like, yo, I feel your pain and I don't want you to go through that.
Right,
So I'm
right.
gonna do what I can. You
Okay.
feel what I'm saying? But like I said, it goes off of your feelings.
Okay.
People ain't feeling it. They're just let's get this shot real quick. Camera shot. Okay, we're out
Right.
here, because I had people come to my events that did the same thing, and I watched them. I knew what it was.
Okay.
So you know, that's pretty much it, man. You
Right.
got to go off of what you feel.
So let me ask you. I want to ask you this. What is your? How do you feel? I mean, I know how you feel. I just don't want to ask you because no question is a dumb question. But how do you feel, or what's your stance on people that still might see you as solo? And I know that's them. They're not growing. They're stuck in the past. That's what I believe. People
Yeah.
don't see people grow. But how do you feel? I mean, because that's still a part of who you are.
Yeah.
I'm not going. But
Yeah.
what is your stance on people that might judge you and won't let you be who you are today?
I just think they're deaf, dumb, and blind.
Okay.
Solo been gone.
Right.
Solo would have been in jail already.
Right. Right.
So what about the homies that want you to still be them?
I don't got them.
Okay.
The ones that want me to still be him, they've been like, they're not even around. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't even be around them. But for the most part, I'm gonna be real. A lot of the old homies,
Okay.
even the ones that aren't even in the,
Yes.
in that positive
Yes.
all
yeah,
the way,
yeah.
they don't
Respect
want me to
it.
be
I
so.
got you. They respect
They
it.
want me to be Tone.
Okay.
Right.
That's what they want. And
Right.
you know, even like sometimes I get them thoughts like, man, I'm sick of you. Like, man, listen.
Yeah.
I call one of my folks and they'll be like, man, bro, that ain't even it.
Yeah.
They know how I'm moving. They like, man, that ain't you.
Okay.
Keep doing what you're doing. So
Right.
that's like them type. But there are still like, oh, Solo. Like, sometimes I understand it because they're used to calling me that.
Yeah.
But if a person wants me to still,
Yeah.
they won't even be in my circle.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
That
How
took
is-
a lot.
How was that transformation coming along in that journey on that transformation?
Man, that was one of the greatest and hardest things in my life. You feel what I'm saying? Because that's who I was all my life.
Right.
Yeah.
And like at one time, right, this is where I knew. I said, man, and I'm Muslim. I don't know nobody else is, right? I'm Muslim, and I go off of strength is a person that's strong with strength is a person at the moment of anger that controls itself.
Right.
That's strength.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
When somebody told me like, man, get the, and I'm looking like, man, he don't even know who he's dealing with.
Right.
I'm really like, I'm like a hot second from like, yeah. But I said, you know what, man, he don't even know.
Right.
How hard is that hard for you to swallow that?
Yeah, it's hard.
It's hard.
To swallow is pride.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, man, what make you feel like the lowest of the lowest? But like again, I don't want to get all spiritual, but I know for a fact, and this, you know, I know for a fact, when you go through the lows, if you be patient, persevering, bearing any harm encountered upon the way, everything will work out great. You just got to bear through that pain and all that embarrassment at the time.
Absolutely.
So I dealt with it. Later on down the line, the same ones, they find out, you're like, man, I didn't even know. Yeah, it's okay.
So do you, I like I told you, I'm going to ask these questions. Do you feel that, I know it's just starting, but do you feel the strides that you're making now in your brother's memory? How do you feel about it?
I think it's going great.
Okay.
It's like sometimes, you know, but that's our own desires and selfish needs when we like, man, it should be this, it should be that. I don't get caught up in that because I'm a firm believer in like things take time and whenever it happens, and that's the way it's supposed to happen.
Right.
So, but I believe it's great because when I can go into a school and the children already know who I am, and when I walk up to them and be like, now what you just do? They're gonna be like, oh, Mr. Tony, I ain't. It's working because they know.
Right.
Even in my brother's memory, I'm teaching them something better, and they're learning, they're understanding. It might not happen overnight, but when they see you, they're gonna be like, oh, so they know it's a right and wrong.
Right.
So yeah, it's working.
Because trust me, it's going to still take the edge. You can't never lose the edge when you're doing the work that you're doing. You have to be able to speak the language of the land that you're in.
Speak to the people in America that they understand.
Yes, you have to. So I definitely, I respect it, man. I'm not going to hold you. You know, is it leaders are chosen, and when you create and you start something and you stand on that stance, that's when you become a leader. Because you have to stand on what you believe, and if you voice your opinion or you voice your feelings and you're saying, hey, listen, this is what I have to say, and then you're not obligated to follow it, you're not obligated to, but this is how I feel and this is my stance on it. I think I want for you to embrace the leadership. You don't have to set off and say that you're not a thing. You don't have to measure it to what other people expect from it, because your leadership and the way you lead is only going to be led by you. No one else can decide it. Now, if you keep the moral part in your integrity and things, being honest with those that are being open and being transparent with you, I think that's enough. That's leading. That's being honest. That's being forthright. But doing expectations when things go wrong and all of these things, never cast your role down. Never assume it. Wear your cape. Wear your cape through the good and the bad. Allow people to say and feel what they want, because that 1%, doing that one thing is still a difference, and it's more than what the next person that's not doing nothing is. So I want you to embrace it and wear your cape, so to say. Wear your crown in what you're doing. It's going to be assume the role. You've been to the bottom. I tell them all the time that's the bottom. That's the next level before death. Yeah. And you've been there, and you see it when you see these children and you see these kids. And you listen, man, wear your role. You a leader. You're a leader. I'm from a leader telling you that you're a leader.
Right.
I'm telling you.
I appreciate you.
I'm telling you. So don't denounce. You're already in it. It's like being drafted in it. You're in it.
Yeah, you stand in a very unusual position, and you gotta stand. You gotta hold it. You gotta hold that shield up, and let folks know they're gonna be pelting that joint with the rocks and the bullets and the shields and everything else. But that's what you made for,
And some ain't gonna like it. Some will. Some are still gonna stand on the fence and watch, and they're still gonna be undecided on what they feel. But one thing for sure, two things for certain, you have to respect it.
Right. That's the fact.
I don't care how you might feel about And I say this with everybody. Come on, I don't care how people might feel about you, what they might say, or what's their stance, or whatever the case may be. That don't matter. Only thing that matters is true to what you believe in your heart and what you know to be so. And your dreams and the things that you see, everybody's not gonna see it.
Right.
So you know that one thing I say about that blue fucking app, fake, all that shit, like, because that's where the unopinionated people come to bring their opinion behind that keyboard.
They don't.
I'm in my hood all the time. Listen, I'm in my hood all the time. People that's in the hood, we see each other. So when I say we know we see each other, you see what I'm saying? So I'm out there when they walk in all black and they blah blah. I'm like, bro, listen, they giveaway. You know. Listen, if I see you and know what you're doing, they know what you're doing.
Right.
Switch to the, so that's a pull up. So that's the pull ups. That's all day. We're doing pull ups all day long. That's why I don't care when people like, what the people doing in the city? What they doing? Well, we out here. We dodging them too. You feel me? So, but we still out here because we committed to what we saying and nobody's going to run. I like to sit out there. I like to sit out there and speak a different conversation.
That's what I like.
You understand?
That's what I like.
And that's what that's what I ask, because I have to know that when you come out there, that the conversation is different.
Right.
You understand? I don't come out there and I'm just want to conversate and talk about what y'all talking about. Nah, let me give you this. So embrace the role, man. And I truly believe when you embrace it more and you become brave and you allow the arrows to bounce off you, still stand. You ain't gonna win every war, and at the end of the day, let me tell you something, and I stand by this. There's a cause and effect to everything. Like I told somebody, and now people can take this where you want to take it how you feel. There's different stances of uproar. You understand what I'm saying? We cannot get we can mourn. I'm not saying not to mourn.
Right.
I'm not saying not to mourn. There's certain things that call for uproar, and there's certain things that call for just the mourn.
Right.
If I was sit here and tell you that half of my friends that passed away were innocent, when we're beefing in the streets and this war between this and this, there's going to be collateral damage. Now, if somebody hit a stray and a little kid get killed, or somebody walk into the store, that's uproar. That's uproar. Yeah. When the innocent is infused in this coming, we gotta pick our uproar. You understand what I'm saying? Because if you planting seeds, you reap what you sow. I'll come mourn. That's not uproar. Right. So I'm not going to get around all the violence is getting, they're killing each other. You planting them seeds, you reap what you sow. I'm not coming out there for that. Now, when there's things going on and the police are not doing their job, and there's certain things and people's getting killed and people that is innocent and they're just pulling, that's uproar.
Right. Absolutely.
That's uproar. So when we're going to speak to gang and gang violence, we have to speak to that in the individual. But as far as community uproar, there's certain things that you just don't uproar and get the community to, because I tell people all the time. They be like, well, my son's not safe. Nowhere you go safe from your own people or the other people.
No matter.
So this is just the world we live in. But your kids are not targeted. They can walk to the store. They still have to be mindful because it's the neighborhood that it is. Right. But I don't teach that fear. Oh, they're doing this. I don't tell my kids that, because that between them is between them. Right. You understand what I'm saying? And don't be an onlooker to things that don't concern you. And I think certain things call for uproar, certain things call for a different activity, a certain, so we have to choose, because only time you hear people throwing rocks and getting up because it's close to your family. Right. Oh, now it's close to home. You know the person now, but when you don't know the person and they're from uptown and you from the hill,
just like y'all,
So I say at the same time, keep the energy. And that's why I tell people, I know I do my part. I don't got to come out here and explain it to you.
You do your part.
I ain't got to come in and say, oh, what we doing? Well, we do this. Don't say nothing. I'm going to let you talk. Say what you want to say. Right. Because I'm still going to show up to do what I do. Why? Because like you said, it's a feel. It's a passion. So all that talking, I'm still going to say what I got to say. I'm still going to speak on what I want to speak on when I feel like speaking on it.
I want to say something. When you spoke about, like, it's a time to uproar, because it's absolutely right now. And I don't want to bring it up too much, but incarcerated, I was like one of the majlis. Okay. And the Muslims we was over 400 or 500 deep. Okay. So I had to be one of the majlis, and that's one of the security. Okay. Security. Now, it's always a time for uproar.
Mhm.
It's a time for, just you got to know when to stand off.
Right.
And you got to know when to go.
Yeah.
And everybody thinks that, just because something happened, it's time
Mhm.
to go. No,
Yeah.
Right.
that's not how it go.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
you want to send everybody to get killed?
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
That's not how it go
Yeah.
for something so petty that can be
Yeah.
talked out like
Right.
that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, and a lot of times, like what you were saying about the shootings and all this stuff going on in the city, if you know they into the streets, this is coming with it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
This comes with it. Now, I can hurt for you.
Yeah.
I can hurt for the family
Mhm. Mhm.
because I know
Yeah.
the family ain't
Yeah.
into that lifestyle. I hurt for them, but this is not the time that you go out there and be like, yo, we need to do this.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
Right.
that's
Yeah.
not the time
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm going to bring his name up, Little Mikey. I always
Yeah.
tell Little Mikey.
Mhm.
I say Mikey because he's ready. Mikey's always ready.
Yeah.
I say, bro, when your time is there, you're going to be the first to know.
Mhm.
Because I'm going to tell you and I'm going to let you know.
Yeah.
Right.
This is the time everybody should
Yeah.
go. Because every small, 9 times out of 10, everything happening right now could be talked out.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
It could be talked out. All these deaths that's
Yeah.
occurring right
Yeah,
now
Absolutely.
Yeah.
could be talked out. But don't nobody know how to communicate.
Mm.
So what you were saying is everything ain't meant for go.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell the guys this, whoever's watching, and the girls this, everything doesn't call for altercation, reaction.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just walk away and let it go because you know who you are.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, and you want another opportunity for tomorrow.
Yeah,
Right.
be able to see another day.
Right.
Listen, man, we are already. It baffles me because we are in all aspects of life, man. They have our life expectancy, even with all the technology and all the things going on. We
Mhm.
still sit at a whopping 63 years of age, if you're blessed enough to get there. Because they say
Right.
by the time you get in your 50s, disease is killing us, or bad habits and nutrition. And it's like we're not, from the men to the adult men. We have to find that. We have to change the narrative, man, and it all starts with us, and it starts with people caring. You have to
Absolutely.
care. So I will say, I always say to the moms, sign your kids up for programs.
Mhm.
Get on Facebook the same way you can comment on the post and
Yeah.
say, oh, I like what you said. Say, hey, can you come talk to my son?
Yeah.
Or can you come talk to them? So then that way, if it's a group of them and it's the hilltop, you get some people that know somebody to say, hey, yo, we can pull up
Right.
on some old, because they're
Right.
not going, they're going to see it's the older brother. They coming
Yeah.
like, what's the deal? This is what it is.
Right.
You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? So it's not like you got superpowers that you know, okay, the hill is beefing with the funk, but there's people that know.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you know, and you know, or you have an inkling that your son is on the verge of dying, you know,
You know.
You know.
Yeah.
you gotta say something if you care.
You got to.
You can't just go, oh, life is I'm just by myself. You choose to be. There's a
Yeah,
bunch
you
of
want
villages
to.
out here,
Yeah.
but you can't come after the fact and say, oh, what are y'all doing?
Yeah.
You gotta say something ahead of time.
Right.
You gotta sign them up for shit, even if they don't want to do it. You know, so
Yeah.
I look at the moms like, we got programs with protocol. If you ain't signing your kids up, or you ain't saying, hey, bro, can you come talk to my son? Can you come talk to
Right.
my daughter?
Right.
Like, you have to meet halfway. If you feel that, and you know the temperature in your house, you know when your son's
They
up
know
to
it.
no good.
Absolutely.
You know he ain't bringing no A's in there. You know he ain't talking about no books. You know he ain't saying, Mom, this happened in 5th period, or he ain't talking school. You know it.
They
So,
know.
you know, get it. Listen, if you're going to work, you better get life insurance.
Right.
And get things in order, or get your GoFundMe, because listen, it is bound to happen. It's going to happen.
Absolutely.
You know, there's no other way down that street.
It's about it.
I wanted
You know.
to ask too, how important do you think education is for these young men and women to not commit crime? Because it's a statistic that shows the kids that don't know how to read or that don't know how to really articulate themselves. They're like, well, listen, F it, I ain't got shit else to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So how important is education towards keeping the kids off the street? And
Education's still at the top.
Yeah.
right.
Very, very important, because without education, how you going to learn how to communicate?
Absolutely. There we
How
have
you
it.
going to learn how to diffuse
Right.
a problem? Even
Right.
street,
Yeah.
knowledge.
Yeah.
If you don't have no type of education, you're not even going to understand the basic street knowledge
Right.
that's being
Yeah,
spoken to.
absolutely.
So education is always at the top of the line.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? You got to know how to communicate. You got to know how to diffuse a situation and walk away.
Yeah.
So, yeah, number one.
And people think diffusing the situation is a weak thing to do when it's like you said, that's strength. That's strength. If you could diffuse something, if everybody could walk away, how they arrived.
My homie told me from New York, right? He said, I believe it was Boo from New York.
Yeah.
So Boo said, he said, yo, but I didn't even remember this.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even remember. He said, yo, when you walked up, when there was about to be a situation up, one of them bars, I don't even remember the bar, but you can ask him. So he said, when you walked up, because it was New York dudes and it was Harrisburg dudes. I said, man, nah, man, we ain't rocking like that. That's my people. That's my old head. I don't care where they from.
Bro,
They're
right.
good dudes, man.
Yeah.
So I diffused the situation, and he said his homies from New York came to me and said, yo, who is Son? He said, Son got some strength. You know what I mean? So strength is about how you act in certain situations, man. It's always at the moment of anger. If you can control it and control the situation from being harmful to each other, and you know for a fact, this ain't going to be a good outcome.
Right.
Solve it. You know what I mean? Diffuse it. That's what it is. So, yeah, I wanted to bring you that up to elaborate off of what you said. Though.
Absolutely.
So,
I respect it, man. I
Absolutely.
respect your mind, what you're doing. I just need for you to embrace it. Embrace it even more. Don't worry about the chatter. Go all out. Speak what you need to do, because one thing about it, you a warrior. Like, you know, there's different people. There's people that want to be king and crowned and all that. Sit up there on that ivory tower behind that. Then you got the one that's out there in the streets. Yeah. That's in the war. You know, because like at the end of the day, these your neighborhood, and that we always know that it's a risk every time you turn that corner. It could be strays or anything, even though it's not directly towards you. You're still in the presence, you know, and so the only way you're going to be able to get next to the fire, you got to stand there. And getting this close, you might get burnt, you know. So, and I'd rather the burnt be verbally from. What I mean by that is other than hearsay and all the people chattering to what they expect or what they want and things like that. That comes with the territory, man. So you know.
But if they talking, they watching.
Yeah, so
they watching for sure. They want to see what's going on, what you doing. So
it's not up to you. You can't. There's nothing you can fix as far as when the situation has already taken place.
Yeah,
the damage is done.
Done.
So only thing you can do is wear that situation. Use it as armor. Use it as another teaching tool. You know, there's a teaching tool in that. And her son's story, you know, that has a story of saving that can help the next in its own. Yeah. So, you know, we can bring light to that tragedy for what led to and how things transpired, because you can't act and deny it. You know, you can't act and deny what took place that caused these things, situations, especially when you know you have to speak it. You have to use that as the teaching tool to make sure, because trust me, hey, the same situations we've been seeing and going through all the time.
Yeah.
Truck lost his life over something so petty.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? I can go through and name. I can drop so many names that where that shit was so petty, where it was over something that was so obsolete. That I'm just like, man, that was it. Squeezed out.
And what you know, what I not to cut you off.
Yeah, you good.
And what I did, you know, what I try to do is the same thing you just said. Use that to try to change somebody else's life. Because even just by that example there, right? If you know your brother, your friend, the one that you call your homie, he just lost his life. That should make you redirect everything in your mind. Not about get back and revenge.
Yes.
My get back to do something right for my friend will be to help take care of his mother.
Absolutely.
Will be to hold her when she's mourning and try to do everything in my power to not see her go through the same thing again. Because if you kill somebody or you get killed, she's going through it and your family's going through it all over again.
Yeah.
So all you got to do is step back and change the whole mind frame that they're giving up revenge. That ain't the best way to do it. If you really your homie, like they say they are, all that'll change up, man. That's how you know 98.9999% of these guys are fake. They ain't real friends. They ain't your real homies, because if they were, if I lost my life, I would want my friends, my homies, to make sure, look out for my
honor
kids
me.
here and there.
Yeah.
Speak high of me the
Honor
good
me.
that I did.
Yeah.
I want my deeds while I'm
Yeah,
going.
Right.
Don't
Honor
carry
me.
on and hurt nobody
Yeah.
else, because that
Yeah.
falls on me.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I honor all the dead.
All of them.
I honor all of them. You don't even
Honor,
have to be.
man.
I ride like that's
That's
just
right.
how I'm
That's how
gonna
it
live
is,
my
man.
life to the fullest because
Right.
you can't.
Yep.
So listen, I'm out here.
So it's like if you're a real friend, you're a real homie, man, and you got to do everything in your power so that people don't keep going through this.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like people don't definitely ain't coming. You ain't coming back.
Yeah,
You ain't going to jail and then coming back.
yeah,
It's over.
yeah,
That ain't coming back up.
yeah.
Nah.
So people just gotta get it right,
Yeah.
man. You know what I mean?
It's a work in progress. So
Absolutely.
tell them that you have any events or anything you want to.
Yeah.
Tell them where to find you. Go ahead.
For the youth, we have a back to school block party coexist in Stilton on the 12th. I believe it's starting at 12.
Okay.
You know, I don't even know exactly the time. But that's on the 12th, Saturday, coexist Stilton. Come on out, bring the kids. Everything is free. You don't have to register. That's with Unite. Desi Ortiz, Claudie Kenyon, and Cache Woodward. Aiden Lamar, Unite, and Unforgettable Styles, and coexist. So we're gonna host that down there. We also have a multicultural pop up on the 26th of this month.
Okay.
That's at the same location. Coexist. All they have to do is inbox me for details and things like that. But the flyers are up.
Okay.
But this, you on the tournament Tears for Terena? You know I love Angel.
Uh,
The tournament is also the
Yes.
12th, the same time
Yes.
that we had the block party. But however, my fiance, she's going to step in for me
Okay.
while I go over there.
Okay.
You know, we put that work in.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's what's going on.
All right.
Alright.
So stuff out here for people to do.
Yes.
Don't let them tell you it's not.
Absolutely. Where can they find you at?
They can find me everywhere. You can find me on Facebook, Tone Cook, Instagram, Push Harrisburg. That's pretty much it. If you want to find me, locate me through Messenger.
There
But
you
I'm
go.
always able to talk. If you got a problem, if your child has an issue, I like that. Can I say this real quick?
Absolutely.
Because people reach out so much, right? About, can you talk to my kid? Can you do this with my kid? That's not how I roll. What I do is I build a relationship.
Okay.
Because I can't just jump at a kid like be like, yo, you shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah,
Right.
Like,
yeah,
they gonna be
yeah.
like, man, get out of
Yeah,
here.
absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
and I advise you,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I advise them, if you do want me to speak with your child, bring them around.
Yeah.
We do plenty of events.
Right.
Oh, we're always
Yeah.
around, even if it's like a weekend and we're
Yeah.
not doing nothing. Bring them around to build a relationship. So
Yeah.
then he see how we moving, and we talking to him. He like, oh, okay, Mr.
Yeah.
Tony ain't gonna lie to me.
Right.
You feel what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So if you want somebody to talk to your child, try to give them out with us and bring them out so we can, interact with them,
Okay.
build a relationship.
Okay. I enjoyed this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I love you. I love this. man.
Absolutely, man. We appreciate you.
I appreciate y'all, man.
Hey,
All right.
man.
Yes, sir.
Well, this has been another episode of Quit the Cat Podcast featuring Mr. Tone Cook.
Yes, sir.
We thank him for his time, for his insight, his energy.
Yeah.
And, it's been another episode. We going to holler at y'all on the next one. Y'all know where to find us at? Click all the links and everything else.
Yes.
Well, holla.
Peace.
Peace. Peace to the gang, peace of gang, and welcome to Quit the Cat Podcast.